Hi everybody, so I want to do a tutorial where I review the things we went over in class today. We looked at the coordinate system of the game salad stage. So I've imported a couple of images. I have an urchin and a bubble. I'm going to create a new actor, drag in the urchin image, put this actor onto the stage. I double click the actor to give him a new behavior. And I give him the move to behavior. And I'm going to say move to position 0, 0, meaning 0 on the x-axis, or 0 horizontally, and 0 on the y-axis, or 0 vertically. Where does this put him? Let's preview it. Moves him to the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So in Game Salad, the origin, or the 0 point, is the lower left-hand corner of the screen. This is 0 horizontally, 0 vertically. So for instance, if I moved him to position 100, 100, that means I'm moving him 100 pixels to the right of the origin and 100 pixels above the origin. Let's take a look at that. This is 100 pixels to the right of the origin, 100 pixels above the origin. Let's try a different set of numbers. We'll move him to 300 pixels to the right, 100 pixels up. And there we are, 300 pixels to the right of the origin. So from 0 to 300, and 100 pixels up from the origin, from 0 to 100. So this is how we're specifying location in an XY coordinate system. So here's the problem, and this was one of the really challenging things in class today. How do we know how wide and how tall the screen is? Because it's going to change from device to device. If I'm looking at this on a MacBook, the screen is going to be a different number of pixels wide and high than if I'm looking at it on an iPhone. So we can ask the computer, what is the width and height of the screen? So for instance, if I want to move to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, I don't know what number to fill in here, but I can use the expression editor to say I want to move to the device's screen size width. I want to go device's screen size width. I want to go all the way to however many pixels wide this screen is. I want to go all the way to the right edge. I want to go to the width. And I also want to go to the device's screen size height. So we don't have to know exactly how many pixels that is. Device's screen size height, double click, green check mark, because the computer will fill in the number. Maybe it's 1200 pixels wide, maybe it's 1600 pixels wide. It's okay, the computer will calculate it based on the screen size, and we move to the upper right hand corner. So as we looked at in class today, if we want to move to the middle of the screen, we can take the screen size and divide it by 2. If the screen is 800 pixels wide and we want to move to the middle, we want to move to 400 pixels from the left edge, 400 pixels in. So we can take the game screen size width and divide it by 2. And same thing, take the screen size height and divide it by 2. And now we're moving to the center of the screen. The center of the screen will always be the width divided by 2 and the height divided by 2. And if we go back here and make a bunch of instances of this actor, they will all move to the center of the screen. Get rid of these. So why is this useful and interesting in any way? Well, once we understand the screen coordinates, we can start having our actors interact with the screen, and we can start having our actors interact with each other by knowing each other's location in screen coordinates. So the first thing we want to look at is how to get one character to chase another. So I'm going to go back to my images, create a new actor, give this actor the bubble image, and put the bubble onto my stage. So if I want the urchin to chase the bubble, so I'll give the bubble some motion commands, create a rule. I'll use the standard W for up, and I'll use acceleration. So W for up, or 90 degrees. Can take this whole thing, Command C to copy, Command V to paste. A for left, Command C to copy, Command V to paste. D for right, which is 0 degrees, Command C to copy, Command V to paste. And S for down, which is 270 degrees. And these are accelerating, so I still have that move to center attached to my actor 1. I'm going to delete that. If I tap D, I move a little bit to the right. If I tap A, I move a little bit to the left, and I keep moving. And if I press and hold A, I'll move faster and faster and faster. If I press and hold D, I'll move faster and faster in the other direction. There I go. So, if I want my urchin to chase the bubble, the first thing I need to do is communicate to the urchin where the bubble is. For this, we have to create a new set of attributes. Because if we go into the urchin and try and move the urchin to the position of the bubble, we see that we don't have any access to the bubble's attributes here. We don't have any access to actor 2 attributes. We only have access to actor 1 attributes, devices attributes, and game level attributes. So what we want to do is we want to make some new attributes. We're going to go to the game level attributes, and we're going to create a real number that corresponds to bubble X. And we'll make another one that corresponds to bubble Y. But notice these are both 0. They don't automatically, just because we named them bubble X and bubble Y, they're in no way connected to the bubble yet. But if we go into our bubble actor and we say constrain attribute, and we constrain the game's bubble X attribute to actor 2's position on the x-axis. Now we've locked these two things together. Our new attribute, our new game-wide attribute, game bubble X, will always be the same as the position, the X position of the bubble. Copy this, paste it, and do the same thing. Our game level bubble Y attribute will now be locked to actor 2's position on the y-axis. So now, as our bubble moves around the screen, these game level attributes will update. And that gives something for the urchin to chase after. So we go into the urchin, and we say move to bubble X, double click the green arrow, and bubble Y. I'll slow down the speed a little bit. So now, wherever our bubble goes, the urchin will follow. However, as we noticed in class today, if the urchin catches the bubble, it doesn't move again. So I introduced you to a new behavior, which is the timer. And we can put the move to inside a timer. So notice the move to is inside the timer, so every second the move to will happen again, and it'll run to completion. So now even if it catches up to it, it'll begin chasing it again after a second. So the next thing I want to do is I want to use the screen coordinates to create a wraparound space. So when the bubble goes off the right edge of the screen, it comes back on the left. When it goes off the left edge of the screen, it comes back on the right. And this is one of the things that I think was most challenging in the class today, because it takes all the information that we already have and just pushes it conceptually a step further. So let's take a look at what those rules are. The first one is pretty easy. We create a rule, and we say when the attribute actor to position X is greater than the width of the screen, which is game or devices screen size width. Right? So we're saying when the bubble moves further to the right than the width of the screen. So if the screen is 1200 pixels wide and the bubble moves to 1300 pixels, it's off the right-hand edge of the screen. So when that happens, what do we want it to do? We want it to jump back to the left edge of the screen. And the left edge of the screen is 0. So we change attribute actor to position X. And what do we change it to? We change it to 0. So when it goes off the right edge, when its position exceeds the width of the screen, it immediately jumps back to the left edge, which is always 0. So let's see if that works. We run off the right edge of the screen and come back onto the left edge. And our urchin is trying to chase, but it's difficult. So what's the converse rule? What happens if we go off the left edge of the screen and want to come back on the right? We can take the same rule, copy it, paste it, and I'm going to take all these rules up here and create a group just to get them out of our way so we can look at these two rules. So here's our rule that's functioning right now. This is off the right edge. And this rule is going to be off the left edge. So in this case, when our X position exceeded the width of the screen, then we made our X position jump back to the left edge of the screen. So here we want to do the opposite. If our X position falls below the left edge of the screen, which is 0, then we want our X position to jump to the width of the screen. We want to jump to the maximum right position. Devices, screen, size, width. So you see how these two things are opposite. If we go past the right edge, we jump back to the left edge. If we go past the left edge, we jump back to the right edge. Let's see if it works. I go off the right edge of the screen, come back to the left edge. I go off the left edge of the screen, come back on the right edge. And so for top and bottom, the procedure is exactly the same. I can take these two behaviors, copy them, paste them. I can go off the top edge, and off the bottom edge. So to go off the top edge, I'm saying that the Y position, actor 2, position Y, has exceeded not the width, but the device's screen size height. It's gone off the top edge. And if it goes off the top edge, we want it to jump down to the bottom edge. And the converse here, if the Y of actor 2 falls below 0, that means it was heading down and it went off the bottom of the screen. We want to jump the Y in this case, position Y. We want the Y position to jump to or be set to the top of the screen. So not the screen size width, but the device's screen size height. And if we did this correctly, we should be able to go off the top of the screen, off the right edge of the screen, that works. Left edge of the screen, that works. Go off the bottom, that works. But there's an error when we try to go off the top edge of the screen. Let's see what that error is. Off the top edge, we say when the Y position of the bubble exceeds the height of the screen, then we change the X position. That's not right. We want to change the Y position of the bubble to 0. Try it again. We go off the top, come on the bottom, very nice. Go off the bottom, come on the top, nice. Go off the right edge, come on the left. Go off the left edge, come on the right. And I think that's the majority of what we covered today. So I hope that's useful to you, and you can go through this and obviously pause it a lot and pay particular attention to each step so that you understand each step in the process. And if you have any questions, send me an email.